So what we have in this first learning path, we talk about what we have in cloud computing, cloud benefits. Let's see what we have in this. One by one, we'll talk about all these stuff. First of all, what we have in cloud computing. Now, what is cloud computing? Before going for this understanding, we should understand what is cloud. Because I'm not talking about the funny videos what you get over the YouTube. That what is cloud? Cloud is a kind of different type of or new type of cloud design where we can decide where we want to send rain and other things. So don't be very much, what I say, use these videos only on the funny side. But let's talk about what we have in cloud. And to understand cloud, let me connect my whiteboard. Okay, so when we talk about cloud, cloud is something that we are going to use our IT infrastructure or any kind of services, features over the internet and from a kind of, in general, from a kind of decentralized place. We can have this, we can also say a cloud is a kind of centralized design or a kind of decentralized design. Both kind of design we see. But what we have all the services and any kind of features, components available over the internet. It's something like, for example, you are a user, you are using your Gmail account. What you're doing, you are using this Gmail over the internet. So this is a kind of cloud design. I'm getting this from my Google Cloud. Anything what you're accessing, if you're accessing any service from maybe Yahoo, or maybe from, if you are going to connect to Netflix. Netflix is having its own cloud. Cloud represents a location of service, features, or any kind of software that you're going to access over the internet. But here, when we talk about internet, this cloud definition gets a bit more, you can say, changed. We call it public cloud. Publicly available to my user, to my customer, to my employees, and they can access it over the internet. So when we have a name public, so we should have private as well. So do we have private cloud? Answer is yes. But question is, what the means of private cloud? Private cloud is something, for example, you have your organization, and in your organization, you have everything in your organization, in your on premises. For example, I have data center, I have deployed data center. On a data center, we have rack servers. Inside this, we have created maybe not only the rack server, but we have servers available in my company. And my employees are using these kind of servers, these kind of computers to access data, to access any kind of application internally.
If you enjoyed the content of the video, don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe to our channel.
We call this a private cloud environment. Why private cloud? Because this is only related to my organization. Suppose this is scl.com. If SCL is maintaining its own data center and all the things for its own employee, do you think people from Wipro.com they can access this data? No. You can say why Wipro.com people should access this. This data or these data center this belongs to SCL.com, not to Wipro.com. So private cloud is only designed for the any kind of dedicated company and for their employees. Cloud means that we have all stuff centralized to one place, especially in private cloud, and employees are using it from different places. Maybe some employee from Delhi, some employee from Chennai, some employee from Bangalore. They're able to access these data center applications or data, what they are looking for. And because we have a hard-coded boundary, only SCL.com people can access it. So this is the private cloud for SCL.com. But in other hands, Google, Netflix, or any other provider, they have designed these services, features publicly available to different user over the internet. That's why we call them public cloud. Now, so cloud is a kind of keyword, or you can say kind of concept, where we are going to provide services to my employees, customer, or user from different places. If this is from on-prem side, we call it private cloud. If this is coming over the internet or publicly available to many people, we call it public cloud. But when we talk about Microsoft, let's talk about cloud journey. When we talk about cloud was started somewhere in year around 19, I think somewhere in 1990s. I heard about cloud very first time when it was somewhere year around 2003 and 4. The challenge was, see, first time cloud was not in the same format what we are using right now. Now here the option is I can start streaming any movies or any videos, even from mobile phone, from any laptop, or even from television, from any place. You just need only internet connection. And this is a very, advanced deployment of the cloud and services. I can access my email from any place. I can access my OneDrive or Google Drive from any place. So cloud in initial days, it was not designed for this kind of purpose. Initially, Amazon.com, this was the company who was thinking about cloud concept. They deployed their application in a way this will be available to their customer, to their employees, to their users from any place, deploying their application in a format that would be accessible to their employees from any different kind of places, internally or externally. This was the initial cloud format. At this time when it was somewhere around 1990, or you can say 1995, this kind of development was going on. But it was purely designed for only for Amazon applications. And nobody else was moving in this direction. Because at this time, Microsoft was very interested in personal PC concept, and they were introducing different kind of personal PC operating system, and they were booming in this field. IBM was booming in their device, maybe big player like Google, it was only booming towards search engine. They were in their initial phase. Over time, we saw that from personal computer, we moved to the server design, server computers or server operating systems. Maybe I can say somewhere year around 1998 to 2000 and higher, server operating system was introduced along with Active Directory and other components. Then after, somewhere around 2002 to 2005, a new kind of concept was introduced, virtualization. Virtualization means instead of deploying my operating system to a dedicated server, we were calling it tar server. We moved to the virtualization. It means deploying data center with multiple rack servers using any kind of virtualization technology here. In virtualization technology, you can use VMware. You are using VirtualBox, Hypervisor, Hyper-V from Microsoft, and you can design your virtual machines inside these kind of data center facility. This was a very big jump from dedicated hardware to the virtualization. And every company, they started moving to these kind of design, deploying data center, deploying these kind of facilities to their organization. And now, even now these days, you can see if you're going to work in some companies, they will be maintaining their own data centers. And their data center is now is available to almost every kind of small, medium, or enterprise level of organization. Even a small company can maintain a small data center. So this was the big jump, but at the same time, somewhere around, now this is an interesting point, Microsoft started thinking about what kind of cloud technology or what kind of cloud concept Amazon is using. Can we move towards that direction? Microsoft started a project in 2004. This project name was Project Red Dog. In 2000, it was started by Microsoft, seeing the capabilities and possibilities of the cloud solutions in industry. In 2009, in Redmond Developer Summit, they announced that they are going to launch cloud services with this name Azure. In 2009, it was first introduced, first announced that they are going to launch cloud services under Azure name. And because this was a developer summit, it was just introduced. Finally, it was launched to the customer in year 2011 and in between 2012, very first time as Azure Cloud. And this was designed for three main services: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. I'll talk about all these three, but Microsoft Cloud was designed to provide all these three kind of services to their customer. And let me tell you an interesting thing. Initially, Microsoft decided to focus on software as a service first. And this software as a service, it was launched as a kind of commercial name Office 365. So if you have seen cloud in very starting, Office 365 was a kind of, you can say, marketing product that Microsoft was marketing to the customer, to different kind over the internet, everywhere. Office 365 was, you know, being discussed. It was at the boom. After some adoption in industry related to Office 365, Microsoft moved to launching platform as a service and infrastructure as a service under the same Azure cloud. But initially, till 2014, it was not very stable because lots of features and services we were adding in this cloud solution. So I can say after 2015, this moved to a stable product. And since then, we are using Azure Cloud for different kind of deployments, different kind of implementations. Now here, what format you have related to Azure Cloud from Microsoft? Now we have more players. We have Amazon under AWS option. We have Google Cloud under GCP, Google Cloud Platform, or this is Amazon Web Services. We have Ali Cloud from Alibaba. And we have some more small players in the market. But these are three main: Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, and Google Cloud Platform. These are three main players, three main competitors for all these different kind of cloud services, cloud features. Now this design, what do you see this cloud design? This was another big jump from virtualization to the cloud environment. Now let's understand what kind of benefit we have in this cloud environment where IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS fits in, and we as a customer, why we should go for cloud or what kind of benefits we get there. We'll talk about all these now. Let's understand more on this. So what we have when we talk about cloud, why we should go for cloud, why we should not go to stay in our own on-prem. See here, in very starting days, what we were using, we were purchasing servers. These are known as physical server. In more technical language, we were calling it tower server. maybe from HP, Dell. Even now these days you can purchase. These servers boxes will have maybe hard disks. For example, you have 1 TB of disk here, maybe RAM, 64 GB RAM, processor. For example, you have 3 GHz processor here. Initial days, it was very low. For example, you have 100 GB of space, maybe 4 GB of RAM, CPU cycle, maybe 1 GHz. So what we were doing, we were using this physical server, installing operating system here, for example, Windows Server 2003, and then using it for all my Windows Server related components like installing applications here, or using file server, or using Active Directory system here. Different kind of features and services we were using under this Windows Server component. Now, challenge was, suppose I have application 1 and I want to install another application, application 2. So I'm going to show you some kind of tower server, maybe from Dell, like this kind of servers we were purchasing with different kind of hard disk, RAM, and processor capacity. Now these days they are holding lots of capacity, but previously it was coming with very low capacity options. So we were deploying applications, operating system, and all these. Think about, I'm planning to install 2 applications here on the same machine, and these 2 applications are not going to work together. These are going to conflict to each other. Both applications cannot be installed on this server at the same time. In this case, what is the possibility? You will say, I have to purchase new server in this case, because in this server already we have application 1. Purchasing a new server with all new different kind of requirements, definitely this is going to increase the cost of the deployment and cost to the company. Since very long time, since starting with 1995 to 2004, 2005, we were using this kind of concept. And not sure if you have seen this kind of scenario in companies. They were keeping lots of tower servers in their data center place. But then virtualization came in picture. Virtualization is a concept where what we can do, we can use virtual or we can say virtualization software, and we can logically create multiple virtual machines, multiple computers inside this physical computer. So if I talk about virtualization, what virtualization is? Virtualization is something that whatever the physical machine you have, in that physical, I can use software and I can create multiple virtual machines inside this. It means, suppose you purchase this hardware or maybe tower server, then inside this you can create multiple different kind of virtual environments, virtual machines. Now, when you have multiple machines acting as a kind of physical servers, physical in the sense like a separate servers, I can install application 1 here, application 2 here, application 3 here without any challenge, because these all are totally separate. They have their own different operating system. they have their own logical boundary. It's something like you can understand this in a way. Suppose I have a big hall in any house. If I'm going to place two persons in that hall, maybe these two persons can disturb to each other if they are going to work. So big hall is representing a dedicated server where we have dedicated RAM or hard disk and all these. And then we are going to place applications like two persons in that hall. They can disturb each other. They can maybe not properly working together. But in that same hall, if I can create multiple rooms are the separate environments, separate spaces for these guys. In every room, I can place one person, and that will be working perfectly without any kind of disturbance from any other guy. Virtualization is the same kind of technology. What hardware you have, like maybe you have 1 TB of space, maybe 64 GB of RAM here, and processor what you have. I can create multiple virtual machines, logical separate environments, where maybe I can grant maybe 100 GB here, 100 GB hard disk space, 8 GB RAM here, maybe 500 GB space here, and 2 GB RAM here. So whatever the capacity you have in physical, that can be distributed to the virtual machines. This is what we have in virtualization. And now these days, virtualization is so advanced that even your laptop you can use as a kind of virtual platform or virtual software installation. And inside your laptop, even you can create virtual machines. There are many different kind of virtualization softwares we have. We have a VMware workstation. It's from VMware. VMware workstation gives you the capability of running multiple virtual machines, maybe inside your server or inside your maybe laptop. You can run Linux machine, Windows machine, or other machines as a kind of virtual machines. Like you can see here, maybe this is a kind of screenshot from one of the VMware platform. And here inside this, suppose this VMware software I have installed to any tower server. And then I have created all these virtual machines inside that tower server. I have 8.1, Windows XP, Server 2012, Server 2003, VMware, OpenSUSE, Red Hat Linux, Ubuntu. All these are installed as virtual machine inside the same hardware or physical machine like tower server. And I can use all these. So this is a good option when you want to utilize your hardware resources to its maximum level. And here in all these, if I'm going to install any application here, this will not conflict with any application here. Or this is not going to conflict with any other operating system here, because these all are separate virtual machine environment. So VMware workstation we can use from VMware side. We can use Hyper-V. Hyper-V is designed by Microsoft. It's a Microsoft-owned virtualization platform. So you can run multiple VMs inside your base physical machine, similar to VMware. Apart from this, we have VirtualBox. Basically, this is from Oracle, but now this is something that we use under Google Cloud Platform. A VirtualBox we're using, actually VirtualBox was free, and it was the very initial product somewhere in 2005 and 6, which was working very well. Then Microsoft jumped in this virtualization environment, with their Hyper-V components, or not Hyper-V, but initially it was, if you remember, it was virtual PC software that we're using. Then virtual PC was converted in Hyper-V. VMware jumped in the market, and VMware in this field, VMware was the leader for many years in this virtualization technology. Like you can see here, we have in VirtualBox, we were getting this kind of page, and here inside one physical host, physical machine, we were creating multiple machines like Windows 10, and maybe this is OL7 VM, OL8 VM, multiple virtual machines we can create, and we can run this simultaneously at the same time in this kind of environment. Like this format, you can see yeah, they have this Linux CentOS, Oracle Linux, Windows machine, Ubuntu, lots of virtual machines they can run. So virtualization is a good feature. It was something good for organizations to deploy data center, because we moved from physical host tower server to the data center. So like data center tower. Looking for a kind of design. Data center rack. Yeah, I think this will present. Yeah, something like this. So we moved from a physical dedicated server to the data center design. In data center, we have multiple rack servers implemented, installed with networking devices, switches, patch panels, and many other it was including in the facility. Now, for all these server management, we were using hypervisor. We can use VMware, we can use Hyper-V, we can use VirtualBox to manage these kind of hardware set to create virtual machines inside these. Now here, with this kind of data center design or rack server design, we move to a new kind of capability. Capability is, if I go for tower server, example, if I go for this one, for example, this server will have a limitation. This will have a limitation of RAM, limitation of hard disk, limitation of processors. Maybe this server says I can go maximum, maybe 256 GB of RAM, or maybe maximum 512 GB of RAM if you want to implement, if you want to install. Maximum 10 terabyte of space here. So definitely we will have limitations here. But in data centers, data center rack towers, no, we don't have. We have one rack, one tower facility. We can have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 100,000. You can create number of tower server with lots of capacity. You can keep adding hard disk, keep adding RAM. You can increase RAM level, hard disk space level, processing level to any kind of limit you can reach to. So we moved from this limited capacity to unlimited capacity in tower server design. That's why companies started moving to these kind of data center implementations and using software to manage these kind of hardware, where we can create multiple virtual machines inside these kind of rack server facilities. But the challenge was, for this kind of rack server facility, you as a customer, you have to invest money in this. You have to purchase this facility, you have to purchase rack servers, networking devices, cabling, cooling, security of this data center facility, everything you have to pay here. You have to pay for everything. For small companies, it's not easy Just for understanding, do you think for a very simple, very small company with basic configurations of Active Directory, emailing facility, and file server facility, if you want to deploy a data center environment, what would be the minimum cost that you have to spend, including everything like electricity, high availability of the electricity, network, networking devices, firewall, data center facility, their cooling system, biometric devices for security, including internet connection with high availability means multiple internet connections. If you include all these, a very basic data center facility costing will go around 80 to 90 lakh rupees. If you go to the market and arrange all these facilities, including rack servers, Dell rack servers or HP rack servers or Blade servers, these are very costly. These are not coming in just a few bucks. You have to spend around in a very basic functionality with basic data center design, 80 to 90 lakh rupees. For small companies, for mid-sized companies, it is not possible. It's not easy to go for this kind of spending money in this kind of implementations. Suppose you are going to start a startup company. Your total budget of the company is like in starting you have around 25 lakh rupees. 25 lakh rupees is a good amount. But are you going to spend all in 25 lakh rupees? You are going to spend around 20 lakh rupees only for data centers because your business will not work without any kind of IT processes, IT like emailing and other file services and other things. Nobody is going to spend this kind of money. So companies, when this kind of scenario was going on in the industry, what small companies were doing? Small companies were going to the big companies and asking, can you give me your one server on rent? Please give me this server on rent, and I will be managing all my services here. And there were many companies in Bangalore, in Chennai, in NCR, especially in India location. If we talk about, there were big companies. They were deploying their data center only for the renting purpose because you were able to access this server, creating your virtual machines inside this, like 10 machines, 2 machines, 5 machines, and deploying all your services, all your any kind of um, file server or any kind of applications inside this. It was possible that in this data center, 50 different companies are using this, and this is being managed by one company on rental basis. This is going to provide the services to other companies. It was possible there. And it was very famous. It was very famous, especially in, I'm not sure if you have seen this, but in European region, in US region, it was available there on rental basis. Instead of deploying my entire data center, I was able to pay, maybe I'm going to pay around 50,000 rupees in 1 month, and I was getting some server rack access where I was deploying my applications, deploying my services. But then Microsoft decided why we cannot go into this business. Giants like Microsoft, AWS, Google Cloud, they jump into this business and they deployed these kind of data center to all different kind of means all across the globe in a very big scale, investing billions of dollars in this kind of business. They deployed their data center to all different kind of continents, different countries. And these all data centers, these all places, these all are connected to each other and providing services to their customers. Collection of these kind of huge data center environment with lots of means billions of dollar investments in many continents. This all connection, these all the web of these data center is known as Microsoft Azure Cloud. We have more than 70 plus locations all across the globe where we have these data centers. And one data center size will amaze you. That would be a single data center size, maybe sometimes bigger than an entire football field. So the data center concept where we were deploying rack servers and using virtualization technology to create virtual machine inside this same concept, these giants like Microsoft, Amazon, or Google Cloud Platform, they stretch this kind of concept to a great level, to the next level. And now we have all these facilities from these kind of companies in very low cost. I can get this kind of facility like what I was renting from the local providers in my local places. Now we are going to get these kind of these kind of services from these giants. Concept is same, but now these small players are out of the market. Now we have big players in the market. You don't need to deploy a single piece of hardware in your organization in general. And you can start using services directly from these data center deployment from Microsoft or from AWS or from GCP. So virtualization was good enough for some time. If we talk about between 2004 to 2000, somewhere in 14, somewhere around for 10 years, virtualization was at boom. Everybody was moving towards virtualization, removing all the physical hardwares and utilizing data center to deploy multiple virtual machines there. But then cloud technology comes in market, and this was replacing all these local on-prem deployment to the cloud deployment. Still, we are using virtualization in cloud, but we are not responsible, or we are not going to deploy anything in my on-prem because this is going to save a lot of costing. Microsoft Azure DC, like this kind of deployment you see for Microsoft data centers. All these buildings, these are holding data center towers, and they have lots of rack servers here. And this is the one facility. Similar to this, we have more than 100 different facilities available all across the globe. All these are very small. Let me go for any other image. Yeah, this looks good. Maybe these all are related to the Microsoft data center. So very old image. Yeah, this you can see. All these blue dots, what you see, these are representing data center locations, especially all these circles with blue dots inside. These are the region locations. Different locations we have, and if you want to see exact details, this is another old one. but I think this will be helpful to see. Yeah. So currently this is a kind of old image because we have now more than 70 plus locations. So you can see these are all different locations where we have data centers. These all are connected, and the web of these data center is known as Azure Cloud. In India, we have 3 data center. Hyderabad is proposed, and I think Hyderabad is live now. So we will have 4 data centers. In Australia, we have 4 data center. In Japan, we have 2 data center. In China, we have 4 data center locations. Lots of gathering we have in European locations. We have locations in US. We have more data centers here in not only in Brazil South, we have one more data center here. South Africa we have, Middle East we have. These are all different kind of data center locations we have. And this is covering more than 140 plus countries for services and features. But in reality, these all are what you are going to see here. These all are the data center design. These all are these kind of data center design you can see there. Definitely, you are not allowed to go to Microsoft Data Center to see what kind of infrastructure they're going to deploy. If you're working in Microsoft and backend infrastructure, you're going to see definitely you will have this kind of visibility, but you as a customer, you don't have this kind of option. So I recommend, just for better understanding, you can go for Microsoft Azure Data Center tour. We have virtual data center tour. Here is a kind of page where you can see what different facilities, what different options we have in this, what different kind of, like you can see, it's a kind of interactive map. So enter the lobby, how the lobby looks like. Maybe this will be helpful for understanding. So this takes some time to load because it's kind of interactive map. Maybe what we have in modular data center. Okay, let me go to the internet lobby. It's loading. Maybe you can go for this in some time. This will take some time to load because it's kind of interactive kind of 3D design. And what you can do, you can go for we have one video as well. Microsoft. Just a second. Microsoft Data Center tour. We have a video for this over the YouTube. And I think, yeah, you can see this one. Azure Data Center virtual tour. This will present you what kind of data center facility we have. So you can find these kind of videos in YouTube from Microsoft itself. What kind of data center design we are using in these different regions. Now, so we moved from virtualization in an on-premises data center to virtualization in cloud, virtualization in data center, what we have from Microsoft or from other different kind of cloud providers. Everywhere they're using the same design. Microsoft is definitely using hypervisor, Hyper-V, for all their virtual machines, all their services in cloud. But it may be possible they are using VMware related components as well. It may be possible. I'm not saying that they will not be using it. They will be using it. But in the documentations, they present that they are using Hyper-V for all kind of virtualization design because Hyper-V is their own product. Now, so in cloud computing, what we get? Cloud computing is something that what we're going to access over the internet for getting different types of services related to infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Now we have to understand what's the difference between infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. We have different kind of design. Once you understand what's the difference between IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, you'll be able to understand why we should go for cloud environment. So one thing is clear that we have data center design designed by Microsoft and other different kind of cloud providers all across the globe.